This woman's love for money got her sentenced to life in prison. Now this woman's name is Dorothea and she's from California. And she absolutely loves money, don't we all? But the thing that makes her different from others is that she is willing to stack bodies for it. But anyways, let's go back to how this all started. It all starts when she decided to go to a bar one night, which is pretty normal. But things take a turn when she meets this guy. So they both start enjoying drinks together, and eventually they decide to go to his apartment. While they are there, she gets this crazy idea to put something in his drink so that she can steal all of his stuff while he's asleep. So she gets into the kitchen and proceeds with the plan, and surprisingly, it works out in her favor. The man is actually tweaking, so she uses the opportunity to steal all his jewelry and other things she can find laying around. She soon makes it outside the building, but soon enough the tweaking man locks in after realizing what happened, and he calls the cops. The cops soon catch her and she gets arrested, but she's smiling because she knows she has more up her sleeves. After spending 3 years in prison, she decides to start a boarding house. A boarding house is basically a house for a bunch of homeless people, alcoholics, and mentally disabled people to live in and get taken care of. Unfortunately, she's not doing this out of the goodness of her heart. She's doing it because she plans to do the unthinkable. But before she can even start, she has a lot of obstacles in her way, like, for example, she needs a license to do something like this. But since she looks like an innocent grandma, it was extremely easy for her to lie about the fact that she had the license. And she also went as far as to lie that she was a certified nurse to all the people that came to visit her tenants, people like social workers. Soon enough, she gets a lot of people to join her boarding house, and I mean, a lot. At this point, she is satisfied with the amount of people in her house, so she can move on to the next stage of her plan, which is to take all these people's social security checks. Now they send this money to her so that she can pay for their housing and food and other necessities. But she has other plans in mind. She realized that if she unalives some of her tenants, their social security checks will come, but she won't have to spend the money on them because they will be unalived. And the sad reality is that a lot of these people are homeless or are struggling mentally, so they really don't have family or friends to check on them, so no one will really notice if they go missing. Anyways, she decides that her first target is going to be this man, which is also her boyfriend. So one day she decides to poison his drink. And unfortunately, he actually doesn't make it. Later on, she put him in a wooden box and threw it into a river or something. Since his social security checks were still up, she cashed all his money and she ended up selling a lot of his stuff, if not all his stuff. Now eventually, a fisherman was fishing one day and he came across the box, and when he saw what was inside, he called the police. When the police arrived, they investigated everything, but the body was too decomposed for them to find any evidence on what had happened to it, so the case just probably died out. At this point, it actually seems like this lady just got away with murder. So she can't stop, now she just got away with murder. So her next target is this woman. When she moves in, everything seems normal. Until the next year when Dorothea decides it's her time to go, so she poisons her drink. And unfortunately, she also doesn't make it. Dorothea then gets the crazy idea to bury her in the yard. So she puts on her best smile and starts lying through her teeth and tells people to help her dig a hole because she wants to throw garbage in there or wants to bury her old stuff. Since Dorothea is known for being such a good person and helping the community, people help her dig without questioning her. All of this goes on for a while, and she keeps adding more and more victims to the graveyard that she has built in her yard. Until eventually she has 7 bodies in her yard and has unalived 8 people in total. Not gonna lie, at this point, it really seems like she's gonna get away with all of this, but she slips up when she lets this guy get into her house. There's nothing special about this guy, but it's about the way he got into the house. So this lady heard about all the amazing things Dorothea is doing for the community, so she recommends the place to this neighborhood homeless man. Eventually he gets there and makes himself at home. But for some reason, 2 weeks after he gets there, Dorothea believes it's already his time to go. So like everyone else, she poisons his drink. And unfortunately, he also doesn't make it. But unlike all the other deaths, this one will help bring Dorothea to justice. A few weeks later, the lady that recommended the place to the homeless man calls the boarding house to check up on the man. Dorothea then picks up the phone and tells the lady that he went on a trip to Mexico and won't be back soon. The lady found it to be very suspicious because the man wouldn't leave without saying a word to her about it. I'm sure they had somewhat of a good relationship or something. Since she didn't accept what Dorothea had told her, she called the police and told them how suspicious she was of Dorothea. And she also mentioned that every time she drives by the boarding house, there is always a fresh spot that had just been dug. Soon after the phone call, the police arrive and start investigating, and they find 7 bodies in the yard. Dorothea is then finally arrested and gets sentenced to life in prison. At least this story had a good ending, and if you're wondering, it is based on a true story. All of this actually happened, but anyways, guys, stay out of trouble, and if you need money, just comment down below. Please speed, I need this, and I'll send you some, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more cool videos. Bye.